Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tania, an MBA student at IPMI International Business School. Today, I would like to share about the summary of what I learned in corporate finance class. Before we go further, I would like to introduce our professor in this corporate finance class. He is Professor Insinyur Roy Sembel, MBA, PhD, CSA. He has graduated from prestigious universities in the world and has more than 35 years of experience both in business and also in academic. And now, let's start with the subject. Corporate finance is basically learn about the financial management of a company. Financial management is described as optimal orchestration of internal and external financial resources towards significant and sustainable value creation. Here is the overview of what need to be managed in the corporate finance. At this figure, we can see the cash flows that is circulating around the company and financial market. Another important thing is about the goal of the company. From what I learned, the goal of the company should be about a sustainable value creation. According to McKinsey & Co., there are 4 important aspects in corporate finance. First is the core of value principles. There is a combination of growth, return on invested capital, and cash flows. The second one is the conservation of value principle. We should take a note that value is created when the company generates the growth, and the return on invested capital should be higher than the weighted average cost of capital. This will automatically create the higher cash flows. The third principle is the expectation treadmill principles. When the shareholders have higher expectation on our company, then the company needs to put more effort in order to meet the expectation of the shareholders. The last one is best owner principle. This is related to the company ability and uniqueness to be the best in creating value in their unique sector. While running a business, there are so many parties involved there. That's why we should be aware of the principal agent problem that might happen when there are the asymmetric informations, also conflict of interest and moral hazard between the shareholders and also the management. To prevent this problem, we need to implement the good corporate governance in our company. And now, let's get started to discuss something that is related to numbers. The first one is about time value of money concept. This concept means that the value of money will be different by time. According to this formula, we can calculate the future value and also the present value of the money. This concept is highly related to the capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is the planning process for capital investment in long-term assets. In order to do the capital budgeting, we need to understand about cash flows first. There are initial cash flows, periodic cash flows, and terminal cash flows. Moving on to the capital budgeting, there are some methods to do the capital budgeting. The first one and the simplest one is by the payback period methods. We just need to estimate how long does it take to cover the initial investment. But this method has many weaknesses because they are subjective, not consider the time value of money, not considering all the cash flows, and not consider the required rate of return. Based on those weaknesses, there are several methods that is more preferable to use to do the capital budget. First is the net present value. The project is acceptable if the NPV is higher than 0. Second is the profitability index. The project is acceptable if the PI is higher or equal to 1. The last but not least is the method that using internal required rate of return. IRR is the discount rate that makes the NPV equal to 0. You can accept the project if the IRR is higher than the required rate of return or interest rate. Now, let's move on to the investment strategy. First of all, there are 2 kinds of investing, the passive investing and active investing. Passive investing is when we just follow the market, while active investing, we try to be active to analyze and evaluate the securities that we invest in. The evaluation can be based on fundamental analysis, technical analysis, or market sentiments. Evaluate the fundamental of company. There are 5 aspects to analyze. Those are profitability ratio, liquidity, leverage, and market ratio. Another analysis to look on is the company's financial healthiness. This can be determined by, first, the natural level to see the liquidity of the company, and can be analyzed by the current ratio of the company. Next is the quality of number by quick ratio. Next is the historical trend to see if the company is getting better or getting worse. Then is about industrial benchmark to see the position of our company in the industry. And last is the composition by using the DuPont analysis. It is important to also know about the technical analysis of our stock. Technical analysis is basically to look at the stock price movement and find a specific patterns. Furthermore, there is a portfolio theory to analyze more about the risk and the return of our securities. Return and risk is highly related to each other as the return should be expected to compensate the risk. And there are two kinds of risks. The first one is systematic risk, and the second one is unsystematic risk. The unsystematic risk can be solved by diversifying our portfolios. Meanwhile, the systematic risk is depending on the market movement. Systematic risk can be calculated by beta, and the beta will be used to calculate the capital assets pricing model to know the expected returns of our securities. The relationship between beta, which represent the systematic risk, and the CAPM, which represented the expected return, will look like this. If beta is higher than 1, then we can expect a higher returns also. Next topic is about the capital structure. Capital structure contains of debt and shareholders' equity. Based on the capital structure theory, the debt financings will bring more benefits than if the company only used shareholder equity as their source of capital. The debt will make the earning before income tax become lower, and that will bring a tax benefit for the company. But we also need to be aware of the financial distress because we have a high debt. So we need to find an optimal debt ratio for our company. And now, let's talk about company restructuring. In the class, we specifically learned about company restructuring process, that is the leverage buyout. This happens because there is a major principal agent problem in the company. Manager will propose an offer to the shareholders, but it being rejected because of the problem that shareholder is not trusting their management. Then, the shareholders will make a committee and then open the offers to the bidders. The bidders will make a proposal and then offer the share price with the condition that the bidder will get to manage the company, and then the winner of the bidder can issue a debt to get cash to buy the share of the company. The buyer will become a new shareholders and the acquired company will go private under the new shareholders company. The value creation happens in LBO are lowering the weighted average cost of capital due to the higher debt that will result in higher tax shield. Next is the new management can reduce the principal agent problems and the tax benefit as mentioned before. The fourth one is to reduce the agency cost, and the last one, the owner can get a conglomerate discount where they can sell the entity separately with the higher value. Coming up to the next topic, we will talk about occupational fraud. To solve these problems, company usually gives incentives to their workers. It can be physical incentives, monetary incentives, or even social or moral incentives. Let us now talk about the forward market. When you buy something with today's price but will be delivered in the future. Forward market includes the future contract, which can be traded in the middle of the contract period. Future contract can be in the form of options. There are two kinds of options: options to buy or call, and option to sell or put. So the buyer need to buy the options using the price of the premium, and the options can be used until its expiry date. Whether to buy or sell something to the seller with the price that has been stated in the contract when buying the options. Next is about the arbitrage. Arbitrage is selling or purchasing assets in the different markets in order to exploit any differences in price. There are some of arbitrage strategy. The first one is locational strategy between two different markets. Second is triangular arbitrage that is related to the cross exchange rate. And last is covered interest arbitrage that using the concept of future market related to the interest. Another important thing in corporate finance, Should the company pay dividends? Definitely yes. Because in the point of view of investors, the gain from the dividends is not taxable. Second is because the dividends as a sign that the company can generate the cash and the cash is there. The last one is for the company to reduce the agency costs that come from the free cash flows. The last topic is about market efficiency. It's about the financial market, and financial market is really related to the price. While the price reflects all the information related to the company or the securities, including the private and the public information. Actually, the future market price can be determined, or we call it random walk. All of the investments will have a zero NPV because all of the returns will compensate the risk. There are some strategy in efficient market. First is to diversify our portfolio. Next, don't try to time security price movement. Don't forget to always consider the tax. So I think that's all from me. I hope you learned something about corporate finance from this video. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe and healthy. Have a nice day.